Hey all, Hipper here. Today's battle is in Khabarovsk, and after Shimakaze came out, I don't see many cubs out there actually. And I run my Makarov build here with Sims and Azure Lane Baltimore, which gives me a very agile Khabarovsk. The rudder is 3 seconds, and the ship goes like the insane 45 knots or whatever it is. Like it's completely out of this world. So I am heading straight for C off the bat here. And as usual, my plan is to get into C first with like the crazy speed of this destroyer here. And the reason I do that is that it's obviously a lot easier to defend the cap than to actually attack it. So if I can get in and I can get into a good position in the cap and also start capping, of course, it will be a lot easier for me to actually get the cap. Especially as you can see now, there's nobody else going with me. The destroyer that spawned with me, he's going to B, and that's like nothing wrong with that. He has to make a choice, so he goes for B. That's fine. I'll go for C. But as you can see, we have no cruisers at all, and the two battleships below me, they are not moving yet. So I guess they are using the good old trick, see how the battle forms before they make up their mind. And I don't really like that, but what can I do about it? So we pretty much reached the cap here and unchallenged. So just gonna turn exactly here. So let's get the closest as we can to this pillar here in case there was someone right around the corner. But there wasn't. So we'll just fire some preemptive torps here because the range is only 6 kilometers, and I mean, I'm not spotted, so it's very unlikely that there is a destroyer there. Of course, now that I fire, I am spotted, so I'm trying to draw the battleships over here because I'm already half done capping. So by the time they make it over here, I will have kept this cap here, and if they get closer, I might be able to torp them as well. But as it is now, I'll just sit here in my smoke and be really annoying, pelting them with HE, and yeah, just being a nuisance pretty much. And if you look down south, you can see my two battleships are suddenly going this way, and they are full broadside on. And there are 4 enemy battleships on this flank. So going broadside like that is an extremely bad idea. But again, what can you do? So I'll just try to be as annoying as I can to these guys here, and then hopefully they'll forget about my battleships. But obviously that's an impossible dream because 2 broadsides like that is just too tempting for most players, and of course it is. That's why you don't show broadside in your battleship or your cruiser. So to me right now, it looks like my battleships are actually going to make it up here. It looks like one of them has made it to a safe haven behind the rock there, and the other one seems to be on its way. So I am gearing up to leave for B now and help the guys over there because they seem to be in a kind of tight spot. There are 2 destroyers over there, but somehow someone is capping that cap. So we'll have to go over there and see what we can help with. And now there's 2 battleships here, and there are no destroyers on this flank, so there's no problem leaving them there. Except that I put a little bit too much faith in my battleships here in this round. As you can see, we lost an Iowa. It was on the different flank, but in less than a minute we will lose the 2 battleships that are down here next to me, and that means we are suddenly down 3 battleships. So I cannot just leave. That's the Iowa down there. So I notice that now, and I'm turning around because I cannot leave this cap now. It's the only cap we have, and we really can't lose it. and that was the end of the Bismarck as well. So I am now alone on this flank, and as you can see, I have at least 3 battleships heading this way. So I'll just try to keep them busy over here on the flank, and at the same time make sure they don't actually cap. So if I can keep these 3 battleships here busy, then my team has pretty much free reigns on the rest of the map. Unfortunately, I just happened to beach myself here, which could be the end of my game, but it's actually not. Because I just keep my slimmest parts towards the battleships and then just hope I get away with this. So I am just sitting here waiting for my smoke to come back. I still have 15 seconds, so that's a few more salvos, but then I'm pretty much scot-free because I'll just pop it then, and since there's no destroyers over here, I'll be able to pretty much just have my way with these battleships here, because the destroyer a little bit to the south here will spot for me. So it's a pretty good setup here, and I'll be able to set these battleships here on fire and reset the cap, and it'll be a good like XP setup I've got here. So not too bad. And a few fires, and these guys can't really do anything because they can't see me, and if they rush me, I'll just move on the other side of my smoke. So it does look like these guys are actually going to rush me because they're not slowing down, although I can't actually hit them now. So if they had stayed in this position, they would be safe, except I would of course just change my position. But as it is right now, they're actually safe and they'll be able to cap. But it looks like they're going to continue. So I'm going to set up for a bit of a torp run here as soon as they come around the corner. And as you know, cap only has 6-kilometer torps. So torpedo runs in this ship are pretty difficult to pull off, especially against legendary battleships like this. So in the meantime, my team has taken A, and as you can see, they are all heading up towards B, and then eventually I'm hoping C to come here and assist me. But until that happens, I'll just stay like a good distance away from these guys, and then just pepper them with HE and fire off as many torps as I can possibly get to fire. And hitting an actively evasive Khabarovsk like this is pretty hard in a battleship, that is. And this guy is going to eat 2 torps, so that's perfect. So and we got a nice flood on that Yami there, and he's used his Damacon, so he is pretty much done for. And I'm gonna rack up the damage because of that flooding. So I'll switch to another target to see if I can't get a few fires at the same time to really get those numbers rolling in. So my team has now taken B, and the Yamato is gone. So we just need a little bit of mop-up duty here to finish this game off. And of course it will be a little bit easier with some battleships gone in this fight as well now. So unfortunately, the Shimakaze gets one of the battleships, which is pretty weird because there are 2 destroyers there, so I don't know how he managed to sneak up on them, but yeah, what do I know? So this Bismarck here really wants to close the distance, so I'll try to see if I can't fire a few torps at him now that I've got him almost within range. So I'm trying to line up my ship here, but then there's a bunch of incoming torps there that actually finish off this Bismarck here, which is fine. So we're down to 1 battleship and 1 destroyer now. And as you can see, those 6-kilometer torps, they're just 2 kilometers too little. Tashkent has 8 kilometers, and it makes a big difference. Obviously, Khabarovsk has better guns and or more guns, actually, pretty much the same guns. So this IO is getting interested in me now, so I'll just smoke up and hope that these torps here will do a bit of the work for me. And it does look like they will. And the IO is gone. So we just have that naughty Shima castle left here. And I'm just landed at 231 almost. And much of that was down to that flooding that the guy couldn't repair, which is a really nice way of getting huge numbers if you can force these battleships to use their Demicon and then force another fire, or even better, flooding like I did. So obviously the Shima is hiding in here because there are just torps coming from everywhere, and obviously he's also aware that I'm going to take this way in to try to get him. Now I am very high on health here, so this shouldn't be a problem unless I take a torp, of course, and that is really one the Achilles heel of Khabarovsk here. Even with the most agile build, this is still a very long destroyer, and the turning radius is not good. So if you don't know exactly where the enemy destroyer is, it's very hard to guard against torps. But in this case, I figure him out to be behind this island here. So I'm hoping he's just around the corner here, so I can surprise him and gun him down quickly. But unfortunately, he is actually further away. But I know roughly where he is now. He misses with that bunch of torps there, and this one I also managed to get. And then he pulls the old trick on me where he fires and I get distracted, and I just eat that torp there, unfortunately. But it doesn't matter. The guy's out of our cap and we are winning, hugely winning on points. So that was a Khabarovsk battle, and actually the highest damage I've ever done in a non-battleship in this game. And a decent XP as well. So yeah, I really like Khab. I like Tashkent better, but it's definitely not a bad ship, and I'm very happy I researched it.